Technology has brought many benefits to our life, but it's also taken us away from an essential human need, and that is nature. Personally, I believe that our disconnect from nature is a root cause of so much of our collective suffering. We're more disconnected from nature than any time in history, and we're also more disconnected from ourselves. So in this video, I'm going to explore the impact of nature on our well-being, our happiness, and our creativity. And then I'm going to give you 5 simple ways that you can start bringing more nature into your life. Ways that you can swap screen time for time spent outdoors and turn it into a daily habit. Hi and welcome back. I'm Lucy and I'm here to help you live by design, not distraction. So let's get into it. As a business owner, so much of my work is online. So I totally get that feeling of being stuck in that cycle where just finishing one more task feels much more important than stepping outside, or where it seems there just isn't enough time in the day to make nature a priority. But I need to be honest with you. You cannot afford to not make time for nature. But between those cozy working from home days, meals delivered straight to our door, and next day deliveries from our favourite shop, stepping out the front door can often feel like more of a luxury than a necessity, right? It's so easy to fall into the rhythm of indoor living, especially when everything we need is just a few taps away. But we need to break out of that. It's so important. Swapping those screen-filled hours for a bit of green time can create a world of difference for our health, our happiness, and even the creativity that we bring to our work. We're spending a whopping 90% of our lives indoors, and at least 8 hours of that is spent in front of a screen. But this shift has been as subtle as it is serious. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting we toss away technology completely. If you know me, you know that's not what I'm about. But oh my goodness, we need to tip the balance back somehow, because it's really taking a toll on our well-being, our creativity, and our happiness. So before I dive into those 5 tips that I have for you, I want to share a little bit more about the benefits of nature. First is the role that nature plays in our creativity and our inspiration. Like I said, I used to find myself thinking, oh, I don't have time to go outside, I need to get this work done. And another thing I was guilty of, and still am sometimes, was stuffing my brain full of research online or fact-finding to try and find inspiration or creativity or motivation for something I'm working on, especially when I was feeling stuck. Tap the like button if that sounds a bit familiar. But actually, spending 15 minutes outside gave me all the inspiration I needed, and it made sure that I reconnected to my own intuition, my own creativity, and my own thoughts. And it's so important to do this instead of looking for that online. We need to give ourselves a chance more often to decompress and to take a step back from all that online chatter. And we have to do that in order to refuel our creativity. We need a change of scene, a change of pace, and to go somewhere that forces us to disconnect. So now, if I'm feeling stuck, or if I feel depleted creatively, or I need some inspiration, I step outside for 15 minutes. Instead of trawling through websites and social media to try and get inspiration and to come up with ideas or try to get unstuck, I step out into nature. And more often than not, it totally works and my creativity flourishes. I step away, I think, I ponder on my ideas, and then I can come back with a fresh outlook and I get back into flow much more easily. As Sang Lindsay says, a walk to a nearby park may provide more energy and more inspiration in life than spending 2 hours in front of a screen. The second thing I just want to touch upon before we get into the 5 tips is how nature can impact our health and our happiness. Wellness isn't just about green smoothies and yoga sessions. It can be much simpler than that. And nothing nourishes the soul quite like a good dose of nature. And research supports this too. Time spent in nature can give your happiness a real boost. It can strengthen your resilience and really dial down your stress levels. And it can even improve your physical health with benefits like healthier blood pressure and cholesterol levels, not to mention a stronger immune system. In short, spending time in nature is incredibly healing. It not only makes us healthier, but it also injects a good dose of joy into our lives. And joy should be on everybody's priority list. Ultimately, screen time zaps our energy, while nature gives us energy. Screen time increases stress, while nature melts our stress away. Screen time strains our eyes, while nature soothes our eyes. Screen time disrupts our focus, while nature sharpens our focus. Screen time is noisy, while nature is calm. We need to bring that yin and yang balance back to our lives, preferably tipping the scales to more time in nature than on our screens. Is that a big ask? Maybe, but I think it's so important. So let's talk about 5 simple ways that you can start reconnecting and tuning back in to nature. My first tip is what I call sync with the sun. What does that mean? Well, our bodies operate in a circadian rhythm, which is our body's internal clock. And that rhythm is primarily influenced by the light and dark in our environment. When it starts getting dark, our bodies produce more melatonin, which helps us feel sleepy. And when it's light, our bodies produce less melatonin, so we feel more awake. And this 24-hour cycle regulates important biological processes in our body, such as sleep, eating, hormone production, and cell regeneration. Before artificial lighting and screens, our ancestors' sleep-wake cycle was closely aligned with the rise and set of the sun. And there's a lot of growing scientific evidence that shows that morning and evening sun exposure has huge benefits. It improves our sleep, our mood, and our overall well-being. And it acts as a counterbalance to the effect of too much screen time, which often disrupts that 24-hour cycle. So how can we do this? Simply by spending the first 5 to 10 minutes of your day outside in the morning sunlight. This could be as simple as having your coffee in the garden or taking a short walk around your neighborhood. And do the same in the evening when the sun is setting, and it will signal to your body that it's time to wind down. The blue light from our screens often disrupts this process in the evening, so this would be a really powerful swap. My next tip is mindful gardening. Now, I know we don't all have a garden, but that doesn't mean we can't all do a bit of gardening. Tending to plants, whether they're indoors or outdoors, is a really great way to disconnect from our screens, and it gives us a really tangible connection to nature. Touching the soil, the scent of herbs or flowers, or watching something grow from seed, it's incredibly fulfilling, and it's a simple way to live more in harmony with nature. It becomes a focus and a calming break from the busyness of our days. So how could you incorporate this into your daily routine? It could be that you start growing vegetables in your garden. It could be as simple as setting up a window box full of herbs, or you could put potted plants on your balcony if you have one. And if you really don't have any outdoor space at all, you could bring nature inside and have a potted plant on your desk or just dotted around the home. Next up is combining physical activity with nature. This could be a simple switch, like swapping your 1 day a week at the gym for outdoor tennis, for example. Or maybe you have an exercise bike at home that you could use outside instead if the weather's good. Or maybe swap your family time at home at the weekend for a family hike instead. Start getting creative about how you could combine your exercise with nature. The goal is not to add more to your already busy schedule, but to switch up an existing habit in a way that also gets you outdoors. So you're not just working out, but you're also immersing yourself in natural surroundings, away from screens and away from artificial light. 2 birds, 1 stone. And remember, exercise doesn't always have to be complicated. Simply walking is incredibly good for you. So don't get caught up thinking that you have to take up running or cycling or anything like that. Just get outside and get moving in whatever way feels good for you. Just keep it simple. Next up is a nature meditation. Essentially, this involves engaging deeply with the natural environment around us, whether that's a nearby park, a tree-lined street, or your back garden. It tunes us back in and reconnects us with the beauty of nature. And it also reconnects us with ourselves. So how can we practice this? The two meditations that I'm sharing today are a walking meditation and a sound meditation. And both of these are very simple. You can make them as short or as long as you like, and they're very easy to incorporate into your routine. Let's start with the walking meditation. This is about gently shifting your focus away from the chatter in your mind and towards the physical experience of walking and the natural environment around you. So as you walk, pay attention to your breath, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the sounds of the birds, the feeling of the wind on your skin, the colours that you see. Really engage all of those senses, and each step becomes a grounding experience, anchoring you in the present moment and in nature. And the second way you could do a nature meditation is by doing a sound meditation. Natural sounds have such a positive impact on our mood and productivity. So sit or lie comfortably in a quiet outdoor spot and close your eyes. Begin to notice and hone in on the sounds around you. The rustling of leaves, a distant bird song, the sound of the wind or rain. Allow these natural sounds to wash over you, and you'll feel your stress and tension start to melt away. And if you notice that you become distracted, just take a deep breath and refocus. So incorporating one or both of these nature meditations into your daily routine can be a powerful antidote to the noise of the online world and the busyness in our lives. And finally, we're going to talk about something that can often sneakily interrupt our connection with nature, and that is taking photos on our phone. Now, don't get me wrong, I love taking photos, I love the creativity of it, and I love being able to capture memories so I don't forget them. I'm not telling you to put the camera down completely, but I do want you to become more mindful when you're out in nature, to not just experience it through a screen. In today's world, there's this constant urge to constantly capture everything that we experience. We reach for our phone the moment we set our eyes on a beautiful sunset, a flower, or whatever it might be. But what if we stopped doing that so often? What if we just allowed ourselves to be fully present and immersed in that moment without interrupting it by thinking how to share it, how we could capture it, or the best angle for Instagram? If you want to be in tune with nature, you need to be present and experiencing it through your eyes, not your screen. So here's a challenge for you. Next time you're out in nature, leave your phone behind, or at least put it on silent. And just for a while, allow yourself to simply enjoy the sights, the sounds, the smells of the natural world without getting out your phone. Just be in the moment and really soak it all in. And if you suddenly get that urge to pull out your phone, interrupt that thought by truly focusing on enjoying that thing that you want to take a photo of for at least 20 seconds. And if you still want to take the photo after that, that's fine. But you've given yourself a chance to really experience that moment instead of just taking a photo of that moment. Don't let your phone become a barrier to fully enjoying and experiencing the beauty of the natural world. Just make sure you're keeping that balance in check. Sometimes the most beautiful and memorable moments are those that we don't capture, but that we actually fully live. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to leave you with this quote from Albert Einstein. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. I'll see you next time.